that wig storage questions are one of the most common wig-related questions that I get. You have so many. Where do you keep them all? What's the best way to store my wig so that it keeps its pretty style? Is it okay to display my wigs in my room? So today's wig care video is all about how and where I keep my wigs when I am not wearing them. Wig storage, let's go! The first way to store wigs that I'm going to show you is how I store my wigs. I store almost all of my wigs in the bags that they come in large storage containers in my closet. I talked a good bit about the storage containers and where I got them and how they're organized in my room tour video already, so I will link you to that video if that is what you are looking for. So when your wig first arrives to you in the mail, it probably looks something like this. They usually come in a plastic bag like this one. Sometimes the bag is labeled, sometimes it's not. If it's not pre-labeled, I will go ahead and write on the bag with a Sharpie to note what wig is inside of it. Labeling the bag makes digging through dozens of wigs to find the one that I want much, much faster. Not necessary, but it's a good organizational practice. Then you have this little cardboard strip. Again, sometimes they have them, sometimes they don't. I guess it just depends on the wig maybe, or the shipping, I don't know. But the point of this cardboard is so that the wig doesn't get flattened inside the bag. The cardboard holds the bag up a little bit to keep the wig from being crushed. If your wig doesn't have a cardboard piece like this and you want one, you can make your own by cutting up a shoebox. I will say that this piece isn't hugely necessary, but I'd still recommend it for keeping a wig styled. See how much it can get flattened without it? Next up, we have the little net that the wig is wrapped up in. This is to hold all of the hair so it doesn't just fly out all over the place. It is meant to contain the hair. And sometimes they have these little tissue balls inside the cap too, which is just another step to help prevent it from being flattened. And then inside all of that, we have the wig itself. A common question that I get about storing wigs in their bags is how on earth do I get it back in the bag once I take it out? People do it different ways, but here's how I do it. If it's a short wig, that's easy. I just wrap the net around it and place it in the bag. Not much to it. Longer wigs are where it can get a little bit confusing. So I hold the wig up with one hand and I gather the length of the wig in my other hand. Then I take the ends of the wig and put it up inside the cap of the wig. This will make it easier to put the net over it and also helps keep the shape of the cap. So if you're doing it this way, you don't need that little tissue paper ball that I mentioned earlier. And once you have most of the hair up inside the cap, it is much more manageable for storing. And then I just stretch the net around it and put it in the bag. It may sound a little confusing at first, but like with everything, the more you do it, the easier it gets. So now let's say that your wig didn't come with a ball of tissue paper, with a net, or a cardboard piece, or even a bag. Or that you have an older wig and that you have most certainly lost all of those pieces by now. That is totally fine. You can still store it in a bag. You can use a little plastic freezer bag with the zipper locks on it and just put your wig in there as carefully as you can. If it gets knotted up because it's not in a net, you can follow this wig brushing tutorial to get it all brushed out and beautiful again. So that is how I store most of my wigs when I am not wearing them. They live in their bags in large containers in my closet. Another common option for storing wigs is to display them on a styrofoam head or on a wig stand. I do this sometimes with a few of my shorter straight wigs or wigs that I am working on for cosplay. You may be thinking, but big curly wigs are so cute. Why don't you display those in your room instead? Well, the reason I don't store long wigs on styrofoam heads or on wig stands is because they gather up at the base of the stand and it can mess up the style. It's easy for them to get knotted up if the hair is just sitting there in a pile. The reason I don't usually store curly wigs on stands is because sometimes they can lose their curl a little bit over time because of gravity and stuff, but I mean really over time, like it takes a long time for that to happen. In my personal opinion, when they're stored in a bag, they keep their bouncy curls better. This isn't really a huge concern though, it's just a precaution I like to take to keep my curly wigs looking their best. Straight wigs, however, sometimes store better on stands for that same reason. Hanging free helps keep them straight. Sometimes when they are stored all twisted up in a bag, they will get little waves in them where the hair is curled around. So it's up to you how you want to store them. If you are going to store it on a stand, just make sure you do it carefully and that you kind of guide where you want the hair to go, like you can wrap it around the base or something. Basically, you just don't want to leave it in a big pile. One other thing to consider when displaying wigs out in your room is that they can get dusty if you don't wear them often, and no one wants a dusty wig on their head, so if you display wigs, shake them out from time to time to rid them of any dust that may be collecting on them. So while it may sound like I am against displaying wigs, I'm not at all. I have cute little bobs and short boy cuts on display in my room right now. I just want to give you guys things to think about when you're choosing which wigs to display in your room and which ones to keep in bags. As for stands, you can buy styrofoam heads from your local beauty supply store for like $4 each, and sometimes craft stores will have them too. This wig stand is from Rockstar Wigs, which I will link in the description box below, but you may be able to find those in your local beauty supply store as well. Good luck! So whether you keep your wigs in the bag that they came in, or on display in your room on a wig stand, I hope you found this video helpful. If you are enjoying this wig care series so far, let me know by giving this video a thumbs up. And subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss any future wig care videos. Thanks so much for watching. I will see y'all later.